One of the greatest memories on a day of tragedy for me has to be October 2nd, 2006. I don't know if you remember what happened on that day, but a guy named Charlie Roberts walked into a one-room Amish schoolhouse. It was a beautiful Monday morning, unseasonably warm. He was 32 years old. He was a dad, father of 3 young children. He walked into the schoolhouse and ordered the boys and the adults to leave, then tied up 11 little girls between the ages of 6 and 13, and then shot them. He killed 5 of them, injured the others, and then he killed himself. It was when evil came to town. I mean, there's nothing more peaceful than the Amish. And if you've never had a chance to be in an Amish community, or go to an Amish community, next time you're in Pennsylvania, which might be, never, you should go to Amish Country. It is beautiful, and the people are amazing. They're amazing. And here comes this monster into this school, and he shoots these innocent little girls. And it was one of the most shocking scenes I had ever seen. And it was a horrible, horrible day. Everybody was talking about the little girls. The news was focused on the little girls. What made that day so memorable to me was when the Amish were still gathered in a barn, waiting to find out whose child was alive and whose child was dead. Still waiting to find out if their daughters survived. There was a knock on Terry Roberts' doors. Terry Roberts is the mom of the killer. And it was an Amish man named Henry. And he knocked on the door. They had already talked inside the house. We are going to have to move far, far, far away. We're now parents of a mass murderer. And how can this community? We can never face this community. Then came the knock on the door from Henry. And Henry said, "We don't see you as our enemy. We lost our daughters today, but you lost a son." Now, can you imagine what that felt like as a parent? On the day of Charlie, the killer's funeral, 30 Amish men and women, some parents of the victims, came to the cemetery and formed a wall to block out the media cameras. These were parents whose daughters had died at the hand of the guy they were burying. And they did the work of blocking the media. And then one by one, they went over and expressed their deep sorrow for the mother's loss. That's probably all you know about this story. But I have to tell you, when you actually put into practice what you believe, miracles happen. 4 weeks after the shooting, the Roberts were invited to meet with all of the families in a local fire hall. Now, can you imagine your son killed these parents' children. One mother looked across the fire hall and held the gaze. Both women looked at each other. The mom of the killer, who was grieving the loss of her son and grieving all of the ones that he had killed, and the mother of one of the daughters that had been killed. This mother looked over with tears in her eyes and said, "We're all grieving. We're all trying to make sense of the senseless." There's a word in black cursive, and it hangs above a big double pane window in Terry Roberts' sunroom. The sunroom itself was built by the Amish. And as they gave that to her, they gave her a sign that just says, "Forgiven." Now imagine how hard it's been, but as time went on, the Amish went on. It wasn't empty words. They embraced her as a member of the community. She was in the hospital with stage 4 breast cancer. One of the girls that her son tried to kill cleaned her home before she returned from the hospital. Around Christmas time, the Amish came to her house to sing Christmas carols. These people know how to live. These people, I mean, me personally, I think they have electricity? I think that's the other group that doesn't have electricity, right? The Amish just have horse and buggies, but I think they can, I don't know. I don't want to live like them, but you know what? I don't want to live like this either. I think I would rather be Amish. I was looking for that yesterday. I can't find it. These families have found a way to come together. Yesterday, you had people saying, "This isn't justice." Well, it may or may not be, and not the way you mean it. I don't know. I wasn't in the jury room. I mean, there's a lot of evidence that they had to go through, and the jury, I mean, in Minnesota, you have to be 100%. All jurors need to agree. In just a few hours, they all agreed on all three? Really? Because I would think might be a struggle a little bit. Now, again, I wasn't in the courtroom. I don't know the jury instructions. I don't know Minnesota law. But really? I pray that these people were not trying to send a message to the rest of the world, not trying to send a message to the community, not trying to send a message to anybody who might harm them if they did otherwise, but actually were looking at the facts of the individual case. And I wasn't there. I don't know. All I know is I didn't hear anybody talk about the family of Chauvin yesterday. Did you hear anybody talk about his family? There's two people involved here. There is the victim and the perpetrator. Both of them have families. Both of them now have lost their son, their daughter, their husband, their father. Both families have had tremendous loss. And I can guarantee you in Minneapolis, if you are the family of Chauvin, you are thinking today, I should move far, far away from here. You were thinking, how am I going to stay close enough to be able to visit him in prison? Because close enough to visit him in prison is not far enough away from the people who would do me harm, call me racist. You know, justice was done yesterday. We all saw the video, and we all saw something that horrified all of us. Now, I personally don't think that rises to the level of murder, but they define it differently in Minneapolis and in Minnesota. It's a different standard than the one you and I are used to. So again, I don't know. I'm glad he is paying a price, but is this price right? But was justice done? See, people are looking for social justice, and social justice is not real. Collective justice is not real, because you're asking for something to happen that is impossible to happen. When men are involved, miracles, mistakes, and murder will happen because men are flawed. People must pay for their sins, and they will. And that's up to God. We need to make sure people pay for their crimes. And all we're doing right now is playing musical chairs. I personally think America was on the mend. I thought America was struggling to be a more perfect nation, and that takes time. And I think that the progress that we had made from 1950 or 1960 to the year 2000 was astounding. Astounding. Was it right? No. Did we made real progress? Yeah. Racism still exists? Yeah. Bad cops? Yeah. Bad priests? Yeah. Bad, bad artists, bad TV people, bad whatever. Yes, because it's a collection of people. Miracles, madness, mistakes, and murder all happen when you have a group of people. I want to hear from you today, 888-727-BECK. But I urge you to ask yourself this, because I haven't heard this from anyone. I haven't heard this from any. I watched TV last night. I haven't heard it from anyone. Everyone has an agenda. We have an amazing opportunity to reset, to take this, even if you agree or don't agree with the verdict. It's the system. And I'm going to talk a little later about how the system has failed. And the system has failed because it failed to protect people who were to be the jurors. It failed to protect the possible innocent because information was held back. Can we look at this story today as just a story, because this is all it's supposed to be, a story about two men. George Floyd, not a perfect man, but didn't deserve to die. Chauvin, not a perfect man, but not convicted of racism. Nowhere in the trial did they say, and he was racist here, here, and here. Oh, he has a long pattern of racism here. That's what this story has become, but that's not what this story is about. I would ask that you would ask yourself, how am I going to serve my nation best? What is the thing that I can do today that will serve my nation best? And the best thing you can do is serve your God. And the best way to serve God is to serve your fellow man. Is anyone thinking of all families? I pray for all of them.